Hello, this is Ken Ferry with this week's Boots in the Field. Harvest is winding down in a lot of fronts. Guys are dealing with rain delays on these beans and slowing things up a little bit, but a lot of fall burn down going on, a lot of tillage. Looks like it must be running around the clock, especially to the south and to the west of us at south. Talked with the guys up at Ritchie Grain up at Wilmington, and they said that they would wish it would stop raining. They're about 90% done with beans, but that last 10%, they're trying to cut it 2 hours a day. Yields are still hanging in there, but they're cutting some pretty tough beans. And Gary said the moistures were 14 to 16% on the beans, and the corn moisture is 15%. So the moistures on the corn is coming in under the bean moistures there as far as harvest goes on. They're still running into diplodia issues too, anywhere from 7 to 20% damage pretty much on a daily basis. I talked about one field that had a 39% damage in a corn-on-corn field. Same variety across the road. They went in and was on corn on beans, and there was no dock at all over there. So they're still working with it itself. They're about 75% done with corn, but that 25% that's left is on wet ground. So they're fighting some wet ground issues in both trying to get it harvested and get it out of the field. Also got reports of some of the double crop beans that are starting to come in now, and just as I expected, we're seeing double crop beans, 40 plus bushel, and that's pretty cool, and they did look good, so I expected to see some pretty good numbers there. Talked with the guys out in northwest Ohio, and they're busy at the corn harvest, but they're driving through water to get their corn. So it's standing good and yielding well for them, but they're the same thing, that they're fighting rain that's coming through on about every 3-day basis itself. So, but as it's going, I think we get another week at this, and we'll finally wrap it up in most corners of the state the way it looks. A couple things I want to cover in this Boots in the Field. One is I've had a number of people calling in asking about putting their lime that they have scheduled for 2017, put it on this fall in 2016. In most cases, I believe it's trying to shuffle some expenses around and stuff like that. And that's doable. You can put next fall's lime on this fall, but remember, in most cases, especially in the corn bean rotation, we're trying to separate your limestone from your DAP or your MAP applications. So be careful there that you don't make them on top of each other. And for you guys that are in the strip till or no-till, if we're putting lime on this fall and going to corn next spring, we have to be careful with volatility of our nitrogen. So you want to think about a nitrogen stabilizer as well in that situation. As the guys have been out soil testing, more and more people are pulling the anhydrous already, and this is again a big concern that we've talked about before. Soil temperatures this morning here 62 degrees, and we're seeing more bottles moving. Now, up till this point anyway, it hasn't been any crop tech customers, and that's a good thing. I hate to have to put somebody's name out over our podcast to slow down, but I have had a number of frustrating calls from growers that are seeing their neighbors run and things like that. And I'm going to tell you that I think, again, we're all going to have to suffer if this thing doesn't get under control. So I'm asking you, if you see a neighbor that's pulling ammonia out there and kind of ignoring good practices, maybe give them a call. A little peer pressure from a neighbor to say, hey, what are you doing, man? We're all here in the same community. If you can see the name of the retailer on the anhydrous bottle, I'd call the retailer as well and just voice your opinion that what you think's going on here probably shouldn't be going on, and maybe we get some peer pressure from your level up that we can maybe slow some of this down itself. Another thing I'd like to touch on, this fall we've had an awful lot of new fields come in, new ground from growers. That's a good thing. We're always excited about you guys expanding your acre base. But we've had a couple dozen farms come through here that are just trashed from a fertility standpoint, both on the phosphorus and the potash and the pH. And I just throw that out there as you're acquiring new ground and stuff. You might keep that in consideration, put some type of clause in your rent that you're looking at, what the fertility levels will be. But some of these fields have been beat up pretty hard. and it may answer why some of the rents are soft. But I don't think we've had a fall with this many fields that are in as tough a shape as I've seen that are coming in. So one, it's a testament to you guys that are taking care of your ground, and that's why your ground's in good shape versus somebody who's just been abusing it. But just throwing that out there as you guys acquire new ground, if they can't produce a soil test or a yield map that's recent, there's probably a reason why within itself. Plots are winding down. All you guys out there with plot data on your monitors, the quicker you can get that monitor data into us, the faster we can extract it, and that would help a bunch. We're starting to work through the data itself. Just finished up a large starter plot here today and saw some pretty good responses to different starters, different starter additives that we were working with, so it'll be interesting to work through that. Talked with our guys in Northwest Ohio. They took out some starter plots today. It doesn't look like they saw any starter response, so it'll be interesting to dig into those. You guys are doing a good job and calling in your fields as you finish and harvest, so keep that up. We'll keep the soil testing right behind it. With that, keep her safe, keep her rolling.